And here we go. We're at the Santa Clarita Valley Comic Conference. It's live. It's in person. We're here. Dustin Ferguson, who is a horror director. We're going to talk about them in just a second. Dustin, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, us too. In person, actually. We missed these.
Yeah, I know, right? I think it's the first time I came out since this all started.
Yeah. So let's talk about not real horror, your horror.
My horror, my make-believe horror.
Yeah, so talk a little bit, first of all, about the movies that you've done. And, let me start with this, actually.
Sure.
Tell me your story a little bit. How did you get into horror? Was that like from a young age, or when did you get into horror?
I grew up in Nebraska. I just moved out to California about 3 years ago. I was a huge horror fan growing up, and I started as an editor, and then in 2010 did my first movie, and now I've done 112 films.
112 films. See, it says you can't do movies. Dustin did them.
I did.
So, I mean, what kind of horror were you a fan of? Was it like the gory
the
or
old school stuff? You know, like I think Day of the Triffids, Night of the Living Dead, Alice, Sweet Alice. Those are some of the first movies I saw. So, like 70s, 60s, 80s movies.
Yeah. And yours? How would you describe yours?
Mine are throwbacks to it. It's this kind of stuff I grew up on. You know, like we were just talking. I have a shark film. It's like a throwback to the 70s and 80s Sharks movies. Just came out to Walmart about a week ago. Apex Predators. Mm-hmm. So everything I do is sort of like a love letter to the stuff I grew up on.
And do you have a team, or is it just you, or who?
We're called SCS Entertainment. There's a whole slew of us. We're out in Riverside County, actually, is where we do most of the films. And we also have some studios out in L.A.
Okay. So let's go back to the very, very first film.
Uh-huh.
Talk about what you remember, the fun stuff, the not-so-fun stuff. Talk about those memories.
Well, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't go to film school, so it was one of those things where I just picked up the camera and learned how to work it. And it was a lot of fun. It was, friends and relatives and coworkers coming together to make something, as a team. And I got hooked after that. It was a daunting process. We did mostly outdoor shoots, a lot of hiking, but it was a lot of fun, and I really fell in love with just the community aspect of getting together and creating together.
Not the age or anything, but when was that, when you did the first one?
The first feature film was 2009, so 12, 13 years ago.
Yes. I was going to say, if it was like in the mid-'80s or something like that, there weren't a lot of...
Do I look that old?
Yeah, you look that young. No, look at me. That's why I want the camera to point at you, not me. No, but because today, obviously, you can look up stuff on YouTube, like how to film and all that stuff. But even back then, there weren't a lot of things like that. So
there wasn't.
I'm assuming, since you said you didn't go to film school, is that how you...
Yeah, literally just self-taught. Like
I
learned how to turn on the camera, how to hit record, how to do the editing myself. I think that's when you have this sort of dedication there. That's all it takes. Is you can teach yourself to do these things if you just don't give up.
Okay, so the newest one. I mean, why shark? Why would you do that one though?
This is actually, interestingly, I've always wanted to make a shark film, but like I said, I came from Nebraska, and there's no water there. And so this was the one I made right after I moved out to California. It was a work for hire for a company called Wild Eye Releasing. And we wanted to make something that was like Jaws, but modern and campy. And so that's basically what we did. It's like a new resort that's opening. There's shark attacks. They're trying to get him to not open, but he's not listening. And everyone's mutilated by sharks.
Yeah, and you can find it on Walmart and online.
Yeah, it just came out to Walmart last week and Amazon, all the major retailers.
Yeah, so let me wrap up with kind of a two-parter. One
Sure.
is horror. Even before the pandemic, horror was kind of changing a little bit with films like Get Out and things like that. For you as a horror filmmaker, I mean, which way do you want to go? More like that kind of like the Jordan Peele kind of horror, or the more classic, which is kind of like what you do?
I think a good fusion. I think it's about taking the old and mixing it with the new, because you got to always harken back to the classics, but you got to have new ways of innovating to keep people interested. Like we do, like a dinosaur movie is not a new concept, but a dinosaur with Ebola, that's a new concept, and it's also very modern. It's something that goes viral. So I think taking old with the new is what really keeps people around.
And I hope you say no, but do you think, I've seen some, unfortunately, but do you think we're going to start seeing more virus, pandemic horror movies after what we just went through?
I think I've had my fair share of them.
I think we all have, actually.
We don't want to relive this anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah, so again, tell them the website, everywhere they can learn more about you, get the movies.
Sure. Like I said, I'm Dustin Ferguson. My company is SCS Entertainment. I have a public profile on Facebook, so just look for me there. And I currently work for Wild Eye Releasing.
And we'll put everything right there for you guys to get it there. Dustin, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.